Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Blazekiller, and today we are back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to be giving y'all 10 fun mini games that you can create in Lumber Tycoon 2 when you're bored, when you just want to have a fun time, whether it be with friends or you're alone. These mini games are going to be for you. There's various mini games here for various purposes and various player counts. So I brought to you a few mini games in the past. I've taught you how to make the Plinko game, basketball, ice hockey, bowling. You can play some bumper cars as well. We all know that can be fun in this game. But here are 10 more fun mini games. Let's just jump straight into the first one. This is the speed building challenge. So essentially, you can set pretty much any object that you want to create, any structure that you want to build. I just set a giraffe here from one of the paintings that's in this game. But say you wanted to make a Christmas tree, or some sort of animal like a giraffe, and you can set the topic, set the structure that you want to build, and set a timer and see if you can actually build that structure in that time limit. Ideally, you're going to have more than one person, and you're going to compare your builds at the end, see who won. Another way you can do this is you can have someone guess the build. So ideally here, you're going to have 2 or probably 3 players. And let's just say 2 players are building a category. Those 2 players know what that category is. Let's just say it's a giraffe. And then, so you have a few minutes to build it. And then the third person is going to be trying to guess what you are trying to build. And if they do, then person who built what the guesser guessed correctly gets the point for that round, if that makes sense. So there's a couple ways you can throw twists on this game, but speed building challenge is essentially the first mini game. The second one is parkour. Now, we are all familiar with parkour. There's tons of Minecraft parkour. There's even Lumber Tycoon parkour. I mean, we all are familiar with the Roblox obbies as well, most of us at least. And the obstacle course, or the parkour course, is obviously just testing your agility, your jumping skills, your accuracy. And there are numerous structures in this game, blueprints, that you can use for that purpose. I don't have all of them, obviously, but if you were to go into the Woods or Us, there's a whole bunch of cool structures that you can incorporate into your parkour course, like different like ladders, for instance, or posts, or these tiny tiles. You can also incorporate moving objects such as conveyors, and that can create an interesting twist difficulty in this. And ideally, you're going to have more than one player, but you can create a parkour course to play when you're bored, for instance, and maybe you can time yourself. The fastest time wins. Those are just some ideas. The third mini game is the maze. Now, a maze is pretty basic. You can build a complex maze with dead ends, with winding paths, or you can really create whatever kind of maze you want. And the first person to find the exit or find the middle of the maze, you can do it a couple of different ways, wins. You can create one entrance or 2 entrances to the maze, and then you can kind of create shortcuts or whatever you want to do from there. The fourth mini game is a scavenger, treasure, or egg hunt. This is kind of a cool one because eggs were recently added into this game, at least with the egg hunt challenge. I'm not sure if I have any eggs on my base right now, but if you do have eggs, and probably many of you do, given that the egg hunt just occurred relatively recently, you can use that as one of your items you're trying to hunt for. Or you can use a rubber duck, or you can use whatever treasure or scavenger hunt item that you want to have. So you're going to hide items around the map, or at least in a defined area, probably in a defined area, because, well, the map's pretty big. And players must either find that object or find as many of those objects as possible, assuming you have placed multiple of the same objects, or maybe different objects around the map. Maybe you can do it like, okay, these large objects are worth 1 point, but these tiny ones are worth 5 points, and whoever gets the most total points is going to win in a given time period. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. Hopefully that gave you all some ideas if that mini game does interest you. The fifth mini game is hide and seek. Very similar to the previous one, except instead of trying to find items or objects you've hidden, you're trying to find actual players. This was obviously going to require more than one person, and you all know the objective: set a defined playing area. Maybe just this Woods or Us area, this main area. Or maybe you can go to the safari biome or the taiga biome or whatever you want to go. And pretty much the last person to be found, or the player who remains hidden the longest, is going to win. And you all know how to play hide and seek. So the sixth mini game, therefore, we're going to be jumping to is skee ball. Skee ball is super interesting, and I've seen a person do it on Lumber Tycoon in the past. And essentially, if you don't know what skee ball is, I'll try to post some pictures of this, and of really all of these, or at least wherever pictures would be helpful for y'all to understand what I'm talking about. You're creating a slope, and it's kind of like a slide you're creating for the ball, or yeah, something like that. And then you can roll the ball down that little slide, and then you are creating different buckets or different containers in which the ball can land. And then obviously whatever container amount that is listed on that container, then you're going to get that many points. So say it's a really small container. Here's another idea. You can create a container of sorts using this item right here. I've used this for the basketball hoop video that I made. Or you can just make little tiny little containers using your blueprints. And then whoever gets the most amount of points at the end, given whatever you have your specific containers being worth in terms of point value, is going to win that match. Come on. This ball keeps rolling away from me. So hopefully the pictures in that description help you understand that at least to a greater extent. It's a really fun game if you ever played in the arcade, for instance. So number 7 is going to be the Lumberjack Challenge. This is just kind of a specific example of the general category of this challenge for number 7, which is just like a one-on-one competition sort of challenge. So you can have it be like a lumberjack challenge, or you can compete for different things other than specifically wood is kind of what I'm getting at here with this lumberjack challenge. So players must chop down trees, and then whoever gets the most money from those trees wins, or whoever gets the most amount of wood, I guess supposedly by size or by mass of that wood, is going to win. You can play a couple different ways, or whoever gathers the most amount of this wins, the most amount of items of this, most amount of this. You kind of get the point. Whoever gathers the most amount of something wins. But obviously we're in Lumber Tycoon. Why not? Whoever earns the most amount of money in a certain period of time from wood wins. That way players can choose, hey, I want to choose this tree to get my money, or this tree to get my money, for instance. So those are a couple ways you can do it. The next one, number 8, is a racetrack. Obviously I would love to create all of these mini games on my base, but you can tell I'm kind of I've compromised in terms of space here. So a racetrack is a great idea that you can build, especially if you have a lot of open space on your base. I chose to take advantage of this open space to build an ice hockey rink, but a racetrack is a great idea where you can create different twists and turns, checkpoints even. Oh, I forgot to mention, with the parkour one, you can also create different checkpoints. But with this racetrack, pretty much you're trying to complete the track as quickly as possible. This works really well given that we have different vehicles inside the game. You can put different types of materials as the floor, like creating these with the frostwood would be a great twist, given that once you drive on something that's frostwood, it's almost like a banana peel in Mario Kart, if you all are familiar with that. So it's difficult, obviously, to control as well when you're on a slippery sort of thing. You can also incorporate the slippery sort of tiles within your parkour to make your parkour course harder. So a couple of different ways you can go about creating a racetrack, or many different ways, I suppose. But obviously the first person to cross the finish line is going to win. Number 9 is board games. Now, if you've watched my channel for at least a decent amount of time, I've made a video on 3 uses of the new dice object that came in the last Christmas update. I believe it was 3 at least. So I give you all some different board game ideas, like Chutes and Ladders, I believe, but there's also like Monopoly is a great board game, chess, checkers. You don't have to use the dice by any means, but there's any sort of board game, and you can use different kind of characters. For Monopoly, for instance, if you know how Monopoly works, there's different kind of funny characters you can choose. A rubber duck might even be one in the actual game itself. So there's a whole bunch of different small objects. If you can kind of get some ideas here by looking in my shop, what sort of objects you might be able to use for such a game. All right, the next one I want to talk about, and of course there's a ton of different board games you can create, as I mentioned. So whatever board game that you've maybe played in real life, or maybe able to think of, or maybe one of the ideas that I've given you just now is totally viable options for this one. And finally, number 10 is Capture the Flag. Capture the Flag. You all are probably familiar with this, but you're dividing the play area in 2 different territories. And a great way to do this with this game is your 2 territories or your 2 different bases, right? So you have 2 different players, at least, probably more, maybe 4 would be kind of fun, where you have to have 2 different bases, and you can set these bases up however you like, but having a base maybe right here and right here, or maybe, somewhat close together, or you can have them further apart, however you decide to play. Essentially, the objective, if you're familiar with this game mode, is teams must infiltrate the enemy base, the enemy territory, and capture their flag. So say this is my flag right here, this painting. So say I would have to go up this tower of sorts, and then obviously you can create this however you like. You can create a really tall tower and have your flag at the top of that. Players can defend their base beforehand however they like, and then once the game actually starts, then it's really on to capture the flag. So say this is my flag, I'm the opponent, and it's a race really to capture the other person's flag. And then you need to go to the other player's base, capture their flag, run, and bring it back to your base, and then once that flag, the opponent's flag, is back at your base, you have won successfully, even if your flag has already been taken and is in the process of going back to the opponent's base. As long as you get their flag back first to your base, you win. Hopefully that made sense. And of course, many of you have probably played Capture the Flag in the first place. So as you can tell, based on these 10 game modes that I've given you, these 10 mini games, some of them are going to require more than one person. Some of them you can totally just do by yourself, but these are just 10 ways to have fun in this game, things to do when you're bored, things to do in default 2 doesn't update this game, and 10 really cool ways to have fun. So hopefully this gave you all 10 fun minigame ideas to create for yourselves. Leave in the comments which one is your favorite and which one you may even go create for yourselves. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell for me so that you'll be notified whenever I do upload a new video. I'll see you guys in next week's video. Peace out.